You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things, MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong, history. And we good on that, put Jilla on the track and we good on whack. 3, 2, 1, everybody say Bulls on tap. Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery, nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe, hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I am your boy Buzz. I am joined by my dude Goose, aka Bull Scripted. We're here to talk Media Day, man. We're live, kind of an impromptu live, but we're here to talk Media Day. Before we do that, be sure you're going on TapSportsNet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at BullsOnTap, at OnTapSportsNet. Following Goose at Bull Scripted, me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review because that's cool and tough. Also, if you are somebody that joins us in the live Twitter comment section, you can't interact with us anymore if you're on Twitter because Periscope is now gone. So if you'd like to interact and ask questions or just get into the discussion, go over to the YouTube page, subscribe to that. I don't know if you knew about that, Goose. Do you know how they did us dirty on the Twitter?
I did not. Twitter and Periscope had a breakup, huh?
Yeah, Periscope, I think, folded is what happened. I think they're done.
They're just gone.
Yeah, oh my God, this Bud Light seltzer. Whew, it was a lot sweeter than I thought it'd be. Whoa! Chicago's Bulls Media Day was today, and obviously a lot of excitement surrounding, everything, I guess, surrounding the team, surrounding the new acquisitions to the team, surrounding Arturas Karnisovas, Mark Eversley. I didn't see Mark Eversley. It was Mark Eversley and Billy D in the beginning of it to kick it off, but initial impressions for it, I liked what Billy Donovan said today. I liked what Arturas Karnisovas said today. And I think if anybody brought us down to earth more, it was Arturas Karnisovas because a lot of Bulls fans are to the moon right now, which I'm not going to lie to you, I am. I know you are. I mean, we're going to be sitting in the 200 level opening night at the United Center, home opener. We're going to be there and we're stoked on it. But he said it's a prove it thing first. And I think, I just wanted to start off with that. What were your takeaways from Arturas talking and how he said, yes, I built this roster. We're committed to Zach, but we need to see what happens here.
No, I mean, I think the message from Arturas through the key pieces on this team and the acquisitions that were added was pretty consistent. I don't feel like any of them think that any of this is gifted or guaranteed or something to take for granted, that just because you got these names that we're a playoff team. They understand that starting tomorrow, is the very beginning of something that's hopefully special, but it's going to take a lot of work and it is going to take sacrifice. So I think Arturas setting that tone at the top, with it being echoed by Mark and Billy, on down through Tamar, Zach, and Lonzo is exactly the page that you want to be on. That said, it is just Media Day. It's easy to say the words. We'll see if the actions follow through here.
Yeah, and again, that's another thing that I felt was brought up too. So our following through on things, right? And that is kind of a transition into following through on Zach LaVine. And Arturas, got a question from none other than our guy, Joe Colley. And I love how Colley talks on there because, I can't wait to have him on the pod. I just talked to him a couple days ago. He's down to come back on and bullshit with us. But, it's just so funny to me. Is you have KC asking these questions. KC carries himself with a very, very deep voice, but a professional tone. And Colley's like, hey, AK, what's going on with this shit? I could just see Colley with a blunt hanging from his mouth and a fucking thing of scotch sitting next to him, just asking these questions. And it just cracks me up. But he goes, with Zach's contract situation, right? And him being in the final year, is it a prove it year for him? Is this, you've surrounded him with the talent, and Arturas Karnisovas was quick to saying I think that we've already kind of shown, I'm paraphrasing here, but I think we're quick to show that we are building around Zach, and we want Zach to be here for a long time. Now, is that front office bullshit, Goose, or is that like real shit?
No, that's real shit. That's him coming off the cuff and looking at you and going, do you think I traded for Nikola Vucevic because I didn't see something in Zach LaVine? Like, that was the start. That was the, all right, I'm here. When we came in, we said we're going to make this team cool again. We said we're retooling. We didn't say we're rebuilding. And they've done exactly that. I mean, nothing they've done suggests that they're not building around Zach. I guess maybe other than Zach not being on a contract extension currently, but that's probably just as much on their end of doing their due diligence. Zach has the pieces around him now. Is Zach a winning player? Zach gets the chance to prove that. Coming into the season, Zach knows he has the pieces. Zach knows that is kind of on his plate. He's expected to win now. There's no more rebuilding. We're not tanking. Jim Boylan isn't here. This is fucking it. You have two fellow All-Stars who are on the back end of their prime in this 2-year window in your contract year. It's time to win. And every move has been built around Zach. So to have the questions or concerns about Zach's future, I guess, might come down to Zach's performance itself. Is he going to be eligible for that Supermax extension?
All NBA team for that.
Exactly. So he's got to make an All NBA team with a.
And that's not easy, man.
No, it most definitely isn't. But Julius Randle made an All NBA team last year.
He did.
So
yeah, he did.
It is not impossible. Zach is coming into the season ranked a top 5 shooting guard. 2 of them make, All NBA. So we will see if Zach's going to be one of those guys. And I think with a competitive roster, AK and Mark have put him in a position to get himself on that roster too. And that's part of, committing to a guy and showing that you are invested in him. And hey, no, we're not going to hold you back from getting that achievement that would make us have to pay you more money to keep you here. We want to give you the ammo to reach those goals. And that's what the Bulls did this offseason. They loaded up. They said, here you go, Zach. Go show us what you're worth. And let's hope that Zach's worth a whole bunch of money.
Well, I think he is. I mean, even if the Bulls have a hard time, because there's another tone in this media day, these press conferences. Not only did AK say it, not only did Billy say it, not only did Zach say it, Vooch said it, and so did DeMar DeRozan. And I watched them very closely. The only one that's that didn't really say shit like that was Lonzo. But they were saying we're all new to each other. We all need to learn to play with each other. And that was something that kind of, I don't want to say built-in excuse, right? Like, that's not what I'm saying, but it's just like, listen, man, they will acknowledge there might be some growing pains there. But I think Zach and DeMar hit it, directly on the head. Because I don't know if you got to watch DeMar shit fully. I wrote an article for OnTap about it, about how he's just no nonsense. Didn't want any stupid question that he felt came his way. He just completely brushed off. It was just very direct and sincere with his answers. But Zach and DeMar said they're all pros. They don't care about how many shots they're getting a night. They just need to learn how to play together. And they're hoopers, so they'll know how to do it. I guess I have a tad bit of a concern for Zach in general is, we've seen new teams get together, and I'm not trying to equate this team to it, but think there is a lot of talent on this team. Remember, when the Heat got back together, and I know it's not to that degree, but those guys had a hard time. It started off 9-8 or some shit, and obviously they rebounded, and did fine, but these guys playing together, a couple ball-dominant dudes in the lineup, it could be difficult for Zach off the bat, and he'll have to rebound rather quickly to, I think the numbers are going to dip for him, but I think that if he goes along the side, along those lines, if he doesn't give a fuck about that, just like DeMar said, and they just want to win, I think that's when you'll see Zach ascend. We just got to know if he can play like that.
So, is Zach scoring going to drop that much, or is it just Zach's playmaking responsibilities? Because Zach had to do everything last year. This year,
that's the thing. He doesn't have to now.
As your driving kick player, you got Lonzo as your connector and your, top of the key initiator. I'm sure Zach's going to have plenty of those responsibilities too, but I don't think Zach's going to dip that much. We say ball dominant, but at the same time, just because you're good with the ball doesn't mean that you need the ball.
No, Zach's great off ball. He is. I'm trying to look at rhythms and how to get set. I still see Zach's anywhere from 23 to 25 points per game. So, I mean, he was at 27.4 last year. I don't think he's going to be, I think he'll take about a 2 or 3 point per game hit, but that's fine. As long as the efficiency stays. That's the most important thing. And again, the reason I say I think there might be
efficiency should get better too, right?
Oh, clearly. Yeah, absolutely. Because he's not having to chuck up as much bullshit as he was before. Hypothetically, we'll see how that turns out. I wonder how it's going to look, like trying to set Vooch and, to make not just for him to get his touches, but for him to be maximized as the best player that he can be on the court. Same for DeRozan and Lonzo. Lonzo, actually, and we'll get into Lonzo a little bit here too. Organic conversation. We're drinking, smoking. We're having a good time here. So Lonzo says today that he's excited to be back to the role of traditional point guard. I see him get kind of shit on Goose after that, just on Twitter, because he then went on about, you're smiling because I think you know what I'm talking about. Like 35 minutes later, he goes, this is an era of positionless basketball. So it's like contradicted what he had just said a couple minutes ago. But I think that he seems excited, but I wonder how he looks this year too. Because, I mean, how is he going to be? Is he going to have the ball? Is he going to feel like he did with Zion and Ingram, having Zach, Vooch, and DeMar there? Like, there's so many different question marks, man. I mean, I'm still excited. I think they're good.
We did see DeMar go out of his way to give Lonzo a lot of credit on being a true point guard and how easy that will make things for everybody else.
Yeah.
All indications are that Billy does intend to give Lonzo more control than he had in NOP last year. Though Billy also told Lowry that he was going to get all the touches he needed and he was going to do this and he was going to do that. And it all sounds great on media day. How Zach, I think what's going to be crucial here is Zach and Lonzo's respect and like for each other. Like they're friends coming into this experiment.
Yeah, they're working out like all the time together too. Zach, so that's good.
So Lonzo understands the kind of player Zach is. He knows Zach needs the ball, and Zach can take the ball out of his hands at any point in time. I think that understanding and that friendship and that relationship is going to be crucial for their dynamic, and feeling that out as where DeMar is kind of just like, what you need me to do, I'm going to do. I know how this works. I've been here long enough. He's ready to do whatever. Even if that's Billy wants him to stand in the corner. Like, he'll do it. So I think Zach and Lonzo's friendship, their relationship is going to be huge for their dynamic, as where DeMar's experience is just going to be huge. And he said that himself. He said, I've had a lot of different roles. I've been in a lot of different situations. And what's awesome for me coming here at this spot is I get to take all that and put it into one on a team that is starting fresh and needs to discover an identity. And I can be the things that they need me to be. So as much as we're talking about fit and we're worried about who's going to fall off and who's going to, excel in their new role, I think the fit is, like DeMar would say, we're basketball players.
Yeah, right.
In theory, Lonzo's a better defender than Sato. DeMar might not be a good defender, but he's a better defender than Lowry. So defensively, you did get better. It wasn't like drastically better, but you still got better. Curious to see who's at the 3 or the 4 with Pat out early.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't talked about either. That was crushing to me. I know he's going to be back, like, because it was retroacted to the 15th, right? So, like, if they play their cards right and he heals up in the 4-week timeline, he's back before the regular season starts. If not, if it's at 6 weeks, he's going to miss like 4 or 5 games. That was crushing to me. If people don't know what we're talking about, it's the ankle sprain that Pat Williams was diagnosed with. He got it in a non-Bulls basketball activity, which is
kind of killed me. Was shortly after we got the Pat news, we got news that Zion had fractured his foot and had surgery, but he's going to be ready for the regular season, but Pat's not. So that killed me a little bit.
Well, I don't understand that, though, because I'm not in, like, the medical profession, obviously, but, like, you'd think a fucking surgery on a broken foot would be...
See, I think what it comes down to is, like, surgery's instant repair. You're waiting for that heal
to go down or whatever
to finish doing it. It's had help heal. Is where your ankle, there's really not, you're just waiting. It's got to be natural. So putting a timetable on that might be harder. Once
Yeah.
again, I'm in an alt medical field, but I damn sure don't know anything about that. So, no, that was a little baffling to me, and hopefully it airs more on the side of how Pat felt when he sprained it. He was like, "Oh, I thought it was fine," and that was in
You thought wrong, motherfucker.
that was in Joe's article. Young guys always think they're fine, and then the MRI slapped him in the face with some reality, and we'll see how he heals. But hopefully, for the home opener, we get some P. Will action, because I don't know how many games we're going to get to. If that's the only one we get to this year, I don't want to miss out on P. Will.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out on P. Will either. I mean, I'll be with this whole COVID stuff, rearing its ugly head back. I'm very concerned about my tickets and what's going to happen here for not only the Bulls but the Bears too, and a White Sox postseason run. But that was another thing that people were asked about today, and I think that a lot of teams played that pretty close to the chest with the vaccinations. I'm not going to touch too much on that, but I just saw somebody write up and ask that. So I just said, okay, I'll answer that. Like, yeah, I don't know what they did. It's none of my business. I just want to watch them hoop.
The player, it's the same thing for your company policy at work. These are the rules that my company makes me follow.
Yeah.
This is what we have to do. Everything else, not going to talk to you about. That's my personal information. Right. Your medical rights are all under your HIPAA rights. So you don't have to tell anybody about that you don't want to.
I quite frankly, I kind of think it's an ignorant fucking question too on like during the media day and everything. Like, can't we just have a time where it's like we don't have to hear about it for a minute? Can we be excited and not have to be reminded?
Especially for Zach, who got it twice and has had to go through the protocols twice. Like, you think Zach wants to talk about COVID? No,
he wants to talk about fucking hooping. I don't think any of them even want to be there and talk in general, but they just want to go out there. And I love the demeanor of pretty much everybody out there. Now 13 spots are guaranteed on the roster, Goose. There are 2 guaranteed spots left. Any inclination on who you think is going to grab the last 2? I think Elijah Johnson's going to be one of them.
I mean, I think it should be Elijah and Stanimal. I think that depth and that versatility at that wing position that we lacked last year, especially with P. Will having this injury early, I think both of those guys should make the team. Outside of that, I mean, I feel like we need another big.
Well, they added Daniel Oturu today.
Okay. How many times have you heard that name before today?
I think once, actually, and that was in the actually a couple times, because I watched some Clippers basketball last year, but I heard it from the 2020 draft in my mocks that I will always read and shit. You know what I'm saying? But don't know that guy. Not gonna make the roster. I'll tell you that right now.
That's like Simi Shitu. Like we got all excited. Plenty.
Whoa! Don't you talk about that legend like that, you son of a bitch.
Where's the legend at, bro? Where's he at?
In the G League. Okay. There could be legends in the G League too. You're being ignorant right now. You're being ignorant. No, I was kidding. So it's Johnson and Johnson, Oturu, Matthew Thompson, right? Or no, Matthew Thomas, right?
Yep,
and then Ethan Thompson. And then there's another one. And I'm drawing a blank on the other guy. God damn it.
So no, I think we're sticking Johnson and Johnson. That's who's going to make the team.
Yeah, just with how versatile they are, I agree. I tend to agree with you there. They can play.
No, I think you got your all-star big and Vooch that you plan on taking up 35 plus minutes a night. You got your backup kind of anchor in Bradley, and then you got your long-term project in Marco. I don't think you're trying to clog it up too much to the point where Marco is getting put on the back burner to where he's feeling like, why did I even come over? So I think with that in mind, I think our guards are pretty set. Just having that depth on the wing is probably priority for me.
Yeah, who wasn't really included in media day that much? Kobe White. I thought we'd get some sort of interview. Did you see any? I didn't see any.
I did not. I saw him taking pictures with Lonzo.
Yeah, I saw him taking pictures.
All right with there.
Yeah.
But no, we did not get much from Kobe there.
And I'm going to tell you this too, man. Like, listen, you know me. I mean, this is our 3rd season doing this together. The show is our 3rd media day that we've covered together. Like, can they just fucking get it right, dude? Like, why am I having to watch this shit on NBC, YouTube, and then being fucking notified when Lonzo or on the Facebook or the Twitter that Lonzo or Zach or Vooch are up at the fucking podium talking. Like, I can't keep up. And then as they're talking, another one's on NBC, and you're missing all this shit. Like, it is just so hard to cover when it's all going on. Like, they got to have a better system than that. Or, hey, just let me go next year, please. For the love of God, Bulls. Let us be there.
Just give me a pass. I was at work today, so I didn't have to do all the juggling. I just came home and went on Twitter and watched the videos that I wanted to watch.
Which would have been way better if I would have done that. If I would have just fucking waited it out and then just kind of sifted through instead of at the same time like, oh, here's Jason Goff, Will, and Kendall interviewing Lonzo over here, but Zach's on the, with the press.
Well, yeah, that's a tough choice. Do I listen to Zach? Do I listen to Lonzo because I'm a ball boy, or what do I do?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, where do I go from here?
Do I put one of your bet in each year? Like, how do I solve this problem?
So then I go solely to Zach, because Zach switches over from the press to NBC, and then the Bulls Twitter and Facebook goes dark for a minute because they're redoing. Then it's DeMar, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm gonna miss this again. I completely screwed Vucevic. I only heard like 8 things that he said. Like, there was nothing else I even heard. Because, like, as soon as Vooch would come on, someone else I was more interested in wanting to hear came on. Not that I don't love Vooch, but, I mean, I wanted to hear one of the newest additions. I already heard Vooch and what he thought of the city when he got here last year. So, it was just very frustrating. They need to fix that shit. It was very irritating as a fan having to bounce around like that. I already have ADHD. I'm sure everybody who watches this knows this. But, like, holy shit, for me trying to focus in on those things, I think I might have died twice. I don't really know.
Yeah, the NBA does a lot of things right. Media day coordination would not be one of them.
Yeah, just so terrible, man. It's just like, fuck, you can't keep up with – I don't even give a fuck about the other teams. My own team. Just like have them go in a line, like, okay, this guy's coming up here and then NBC
the other team front, though, did you catch any of what Cat had to say to the media? I found that a little interesting.
Karl Anthony Towns? No, I did not. I didn't see anything.
You will have to look into that. He was pretty much an open book. He threw Jimmy under the bus a little bit. In his rant, he kind of went on to reiterate that, he's been here from the beginning. There's been nothing but instability and change and constant inconsistency. Yeah. And he's been a consummate professional throughout the whole thing. He said, I've been scapegoated.
He's not wrong.
The bus. No, he's not. I mean, I don't think that Jimmy was necessarily wrong either, but Cat is not wrong. He has been thrown under the bus. He has not gotten consistency, and the things that he likes tend to disappear rather quickly. And he was fond of the GM who has been putting this together for them that was let go here. So, yeah, Cat was an open book. Definitely look up some footage on
I will.
Because as much as we don't care about other teams, but if Cat's on the market, that is something we might care about.
Well, I watched the Pelicans because like I told you, I just like the Pelicans. I think it's because Gar goes over there.
What was going on with their camera? It was adding like 30 pounds to everybody.
Did you see Ingram?
Ingram
looked like fucking like.
He looked like he got stung by a bee. He looked like he had an allergic reaction going on.
Bro, he looked like he looked stocky like the Macho Man. I'm like, oh shit! If he puts some muscle on, could you imagine how much easier it is for him to get to his spots and draw fouls and get to the line? He's gonna be knocking bitches out of the way with how long he is, dude. Fuck off. He's going to be like, I love Brandon Ingram. He's a great player. He's fun to watch, but if he's getting that big.
I remember trying to steal him from the Lakers with that Dane contract for the longest time.
Oh, yeah.
Send us Dane back with Ingram, sounds good.
Yeah, Dang, yeah, totally. It's totally fine.
Hey, Dane, $20 million a year. If you send me Brandon Ingram, not a problem.
No shit. And then I saw Zion's take on David Griffin about playing the fucking piano. And he's like, I'm not letting some grown man come in here and play me the piano. And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? I guess something that happened in the bubble.
Yes. In the bubble, Griff tried to play the piano for Zion. And
Zion wasn't having it.
Attempt to connect to him. And Zion. This is weird, man.
Man, how fucking weird and embarrassing would that be? Like, just getting rejected by this young, like, hey, I want to show you something. This is what I've been working on. So I'm going to connect you. And this dude's like, just get the fuck out of my room, Dave. Get out of my room. Like,
hey,
I'm
Dave,
here.
I know you're my boss, but we're not in the music business. So if you could, get the fuck out of here, that'd be great.
Yeah, fucking weirdo. Fucking David Griffin, man. He'll never cease to amaze me. I'm glad he's over there. just far away from me. Anyway, anything else in media day that I wanted to touch on? Besides, we kind of touched on Arturas's thought process. I feel like a lot of pressure is going to end up on Billy Donovan this year, which isn't necessarily fair, but he's finally got a competent roster. It's just so new together. I don't want to hate on him right away.
One losing season in his NBA career, and it was last year. So I think the pressure's on Billy from himself, too, not just from the media, the fans, or his locker room. I think Billy is coming into the season with a chip on his shoulder, you know? Yeah, I'm sure when he signed on, he knew the first season was going to be a little rough. And I'm sure he probably had a pretty good inkling that they planned on moving this forward pretty quickly, too. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have signed on to put his reputation in jeopardy. So I'm not too worried about too much pressure being on Billy. I think he's going to welcome that, and he's going to be fully prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm hoping so, too, man. I'm trying to think of anything else that we haven't really touched on so much. You know, like, so we didn't really see Kobe a lot today. You know, we got to see Pat. He talked about his injury and what he's worked on, and it was clear what he worked on in Summer League. That pull-up midi, he worked on his three.
Did we hear from Caruso at all?
I don't remember seeing Alex Caruso at all.
No,
I don't even know if I saw a picture. Did you?
Pictures. Yeah, there's pictures of him and Lonzo.
Okay, I was gonna say because I don't remember seeing him talk, and I was on top of it, man. I was like trying, but again, with how they fucking do, yeah, there's Caruso in this picture. Damn, it does look like Elmer Fudd. That's so fucked. God, I feel terrible. I just said that out loud, but yeah, you know, like So Cody Westerland 4 hours ago put. It's important to note Alex Caruso hasn't yet spoken. So that was 4 hours ago. This thing ended around 3:30, I believe. About 3:30, 4 o'clock. I just typed his name in on the Twitter search bar here, and there's no quotes or anything. I don't think they got to him.
Huh.
Like how? I mean, how the fuck in 2017 does Cam Payne get to talk and then Caruso doesn't?
Because he didn't add two former All-Stars and Lonzo Ball when he had Cam Payne here. Yeah, when you're trotting Cam Payne out there on his scooter, he was the hottest thing in town. He had just traded Doug McDermott and Taj Gibson, and he was the point guard of the future, you know? And it looks like he might have been. He might have had it in him the whole time. We just had a shitty development staff and a coach.
I would like to give Gar Forman and John Paxson credit for the rise of Cameron Payne. And I'm going to tell you why. Some people have to hit rock bottom to get to the top. And Gar and Pax were so idiotic. That kid hit rock bottom here with our old regime. And then he went to Phoenix and he did some great things. So, you know what? He should be thanking the Bulls right now. That's what he should do.
The Bulls.
He should. The rock bottom.
Should Antonio Blankeny thank the Bulls for sending him to China too?
Dude, I heard he tried to rob somebody.
He did. He hosted a poker game, and then he had people show up and rob the poker game. But he was on a summer league team this year, so I guess he's in the clear on those allegations, or I'm not sure. But Blakeney is still floating around the NBA hemisphere, so we'll see if.
I remember when KD came out. Oh, did you see that in summer league too? Like the guy goes, "Hey, KD, is it okay if I call you KD?"
See, I that was staged. That was staged. That was fake. I think somebody did some editing.
Why do they call you KD? Because my first name is Kevin, and it starts with a K, and my last name is Durant, and it starts with a D.
I did see that. I read it was fake. I want to believe it was fake because if that is a real media person with credentials, that is a fucking issue.
Yeah, how come we can't? I mean, yeah, I get buzzed up every once in a while, but at least I fucking know that. You know, like, are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. I don't think there's really much else that went on that we really need to touch on in media day. It was, like I said, it just kind of bounced around all over the place. I was very encouraged by the DeMar words. I know you were too, as you pointed out earlier. You know, Zach, constant professional contract.
I definitely want to touch on that again, though.
Do it.
DeMar's words since arriving here have made me do a 180 on my initial take of bringing him in. I really
why is that? Because just the demeanor that he possesses,
the swagger, the amount of I'm not gonna take your shit, I'm not gonna take any shit, and just the attitude that he's bringing to this roster it's the attitude. It's the attitude Daniel Tice had, but in a star player. And you're bringing that muscle and that grit and just that fucking swag, man.
No, you're right. Yeah,
I didn't like the price tag. I didn't like having to give up assets for somebody who was technically a free agent, and I understand Bulls didn't have the money to sign him outright, and it was necessary. I get it. But his swagger and his approach to all of this since getting here has definitely made me do a 180. I am extremely excited for what DeMar DeRozan is going to bring to this basketball team.
I am too, man. Like I said, I wrote that article today about how he's just no nonsense. Like, when he was saying that people said they were going to be a good fit, he said it was bullshit. That, the quote that you pointed out earlier, that we're all hoopers, we're all basketball players, we're going to go get this done. I think, those are the things I was already sold on DeMar DeRozan because of the playmaking ability and thinking about Zach and Kobe off ball, even Lonzo in the corner, if that's what it takes to be, and him hitting, 3-pointers at a great clip. I was always enthralled and super excited with the DeRozan trade, the sign and trade deal. I guess my favorite quote of the day, if you could pick one, and I know there's so many, but my favorite quote of the day actually came from Zach when he was asked about pressure, and he said, "I'm not a single mom trying to provide for my kids. I'm playing basketball." He goes, "Basketball's not pressure." And I was just like, that was another swag thing to me, where I was just like, dude, I cannot believe I find myself saying this, because I am like way more, the name on the front opposed to the name on the back. I've always been that way with every team. Like, besides that marketing jersey I won, I don't have a fucking current Bulls player. Last Bulls jersey I even have is Rose or Heinrich.
Your Kirk jersey?
Yeah, my Kirk jersey. And then I got, Jordan and Pitt. But Zach is just this dude that I think he embodied. It's so crazy. He's a West Coast guy, But I feel like he embodies Chicago basketball and just that mentality. I don't know if it's because he's grown up here for a couple of years. If you look back at 2017's media day to today, you can see that he's grown. He's become a man in this time. Unbelievable shit, But I think it was my favorite quote of the day. It's just Zach being Zach, like focusing on the task at hand. Obviously he cares about his contract, but I think that he is enough professional and has a good enough mindset to put that shit to the curb and go out there and play.
Being so blown out of, I don't think he has to put it to the side. I think he sat down with them and they told him, "Hey, we want you here. Here's the best path to get there, and it's the best path for you too. It makes sure that you don't leave any question marks or money on the table. It gives you a season with winning and competitiveness in mind in your contract year to go out and do the damn thing and leave nothing on the table. So when we do sit down to ink that deal, you don't have any regrets. You don't have any questions of, oh, well, if we would have done this, could I have gotten that Supermax contract? Could I have done this?" So I think all this is very well planned out by them. Zach knows what it is. He knows his money's all but guaranteed as long as he continues to be the player and the person that he is. And Zach hasn't shown any signs of regressing. It's all been progress since showing up in Chicago. And I don't think it's going to be different this year.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that. Any other fucking topics of conversation you want to bring up before we ride on out here?
No, I think we can ride out to the tone of Zach letting us know that DeMar is still in his prime.
Yeah, that was another great quote too, man. And as everybody knows, tomorrow marks 1 week. 1 week from tomorrow, Chicago Bulls play their first preseason game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We get to see Lauri Markkanen, and that's not even the best part. You know who else we get to see, man? You know who else we get to see?
Denzel Bell.
Yeah, we do, baby. And he's going to get that playing time, too. That will be the Denzel revenge game before he gets sent to the G League. I'm sorry. That was ignorant. I should have said that.
No, it's okay. I'm laughing because I've been watching Lauri and Denzel on Instagram because I still have them on my feed.
Yeah.
They've been yucking it up. Back together again. Let's do it. Let's get to work. And it's like, oh, you guys have been doing this for 4 years already. What do you mean? Let's get to work.
When did we start working?
Yeah, we're just starting now.
We finally got our feet wet after fucking 4 or 5 years in the league. Yeah, we got this shit. We're on one. But yeah, we'll be back maybe even after the next preseason game next week, unless any major news goes down, which hopefully it won't. As Pat Williams saying, will be behind us. He'll be healthy. He'll be ready to go. No more injuries. For the love of God, please. Training camp does start tomorrow. So, if we do come back or any news, we will cover it. Everybody be sure you're going to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Sox on Tap. I'm Bulls on Tap. Sox are making the playoffs, so you should follow that too. But at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sports, following Goose at Bullscript and me at Buzz on Tap. 5-star rating and review to anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you want to interact with us now, because Twitter, shot us in the head for whatever reason, go over to YouTube, subscribe. You can throw comments in here. We can talk, chop it up, whatever. We'll be back hopefully sometime this week or next week after the first preseason game. Let's go Bulls.